fastest platform for change. This isn't just a show, it's a movement. Raw, real, unscripted. The Eric Bailey Show, brought to you by NLR, starts now.
Well, hello and welcome, everyone. This is Eric Bailey, your boy, back for another episode of Eric Bailey Show, Season 1, Episode 4. And oh, do we have a show for you. I've got my main man, Cal Bruton, the Black Pearl, going to join us tonight. But before I introduce him, just want to give props to our sponsor, NLR, Restoration, Fire, Water, and Mo. As you know, I'm the CEO of that company, and we're more than restoring homes. We restore lives, and we give hope. And that's what this show is all about. I am so excited. Cal, how you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm doing great, E, and I'm really excited to be on your show. Really proud of you too, man, and how you presented this whole new package, this new platform. Yeah, you shaking and moving, bro. So, really proud of you.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to give you guys a trip back down memory lane. For those of you who do not know Cal Bruton, I've got like 5 pages of it, but I don't have time to go through everything. I'm just going to highlight the best. If I leave something off, Cal, you let me know. So playing status, 1979 to 1989, and in 1992 in the NBL. 4 grand final appearances, 1 championship, 2 NBL First Team Awards, 1 NBL Coach of the Year, 3 NBL Finals as a coach, 1 NBL Championship Coach, NBL 20 Anniversary Team 1998, also Hall of Famer in the NBL, and off the court, Order of Metal of Australia, which is the OAM, which represents someone who has done amazing, wonderful things in the community, also in the sport. A good all-around guy, a great coach. Like, this dude has done it all. Cal, did I forget anything? If I forgot something, let me know what I forgot, man.
Well, just the 25th anniversary team. That was all.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm old. My memory's not as good as what it used to be. 25th anniversary. Cal, welcome to the broadcast. I'm gonna jump right into it. I just want you to just give us an overview of life in the United States, migrating to Australia. What set that up? What was your vision for your life when you jumped on that plane and flew all the way to Australia?
Wow, that's a great question. I often tell the story about, I was on a garbage truck and I received a call from David Atkins. My route, I was behind then. There was a lot of snow on the ground. I had to get my wife to drive the truck and the kids to take the lids and put them back on the cans while I get the trash and take it to the truck. So that's the launching pad of coming to Australia and landing in Brisbane. Already the mission was to be the best possible player I can be. This was like the last chance. I had struck out twice on the NBA status with the San Antonio Spurs and the Kansas City Kings. So this was going to be my NBA version and maybe even the last time at it. But as it turned out, leading the league in scoring and challenging as it was, being one of only 2 people of color in the whole competition, that made it ultra challenging. But then there was 4 when you count our Indigenous brothers and Danny Morsu and Claude Williams. Both of them were, staples of the league back then. And of course, Danny was the championship team. So yeah, it was challenging going through those 10 teams. I think, really nothing more has changed since then because we got 10 teams now. But obviously it's a lot more hype. But back then it was a lot more treacherous.
Right. Okay. So one thing about this show, and which I like to highlight, is that the guests that I bring on, my content is directed at people who have had a vision, who've shown resilience, who have goals, have dreams, have aspirations, and who are trying to shine the spotlight on others to help them along the journey. And I appreciate you being raw and real and unique about your start. And so as we continue through the conversation, I want our audience to be mindful that everything that we're showing you and we're talking about is to hopefully help you to be more resilient and have that vision and look after those who have been disfranchised, look after those who particularly don't have that inner confidence, that inner strength to raise themselves to a higher level. So talking about the NBL, tell me, what is it like? Like, how do you feel? What's that sense of accomplishment feels like to be the pioneer? Like I know you are just a little bit older than me, so no disrespect. So if I'm the grandpa, you the grandpapa of the NBL. What's it like to be on that pedestal?
Well, I'm comfortable with who I am, knowing the work that I put in. I call it my swag in my bag, and I run a program behind that. Excuse me. Having a skill set, I worked at my game. I led the league in scoring, assists, free throw shooting, 3-point shooting, whatever I had to do to get the win, and as you mentioned, the championships and what have you. I was MVP in the Victorian League and won 2 championships back-to-back as a player coach for the Geelong Cats. Back then when the National League champions come out of the Melbourne tournament, they playing the same thing. So it was always challenging having 2 roles. Got to the Wildcats, I was a general manager coach and then a player coach prior to that. So, each time I got the vision, I got to be good at it. I got to put the effort in. I got to have that mental toughness. I got to get the extra effort. Standing only 5'8", 9", they feel they can just punk me, and I'm not going out like that. Being from New York,
yeah.
So I'll dash by it. I'll shimmy my way to where I need to go and try to bang them. Right. So bottom line was that I had a family too, and I had to protect them. I probably was the first import here with the family. I had 2 young boys and I had another one on the way at the end of the year. So it was all about protecting them and building for them. And it's never been about me, but I had to carry the weight and just keep going like, the way you do with a family of 5. So it was toughy, and I got through it. I had some real bumps in the road along the way, and, you hit the bottom and you see yourself there, and you got to find a way. The restoration business, you got to restore and come back.
You probably don't remember this, and I haven't told this story before, but when I was, doing my prep for this, I was trying to think about the first time that I played against you, and it was in 1982. I was with the Hobart Devils, and I think you might have been with Geelong.
That was my first year in the league. Yeah.
And I remember, I actually remember the hype before the game. Cal Bruton's coming to town. Cal Bruton. I was like, who's this brother Cal Bruton? And then I found out you were like 5'8" and 5'8" and like 10, almost 10 years, like 7, 8 years older than me. Because I was only 22. And when you're 22 and somebody's in their 30s, to me, they were old. And I watched you down the other day. I saw this brother, man. I'm gonna swipe all that. Man, you torched us for like 42. We lost by 25. I was in the locker room saying, never underestimate anyone. This brother got game. So that sticks in my mind.
Wow, that's a great story, man. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so you talked a little bit about so there were two African-American imports and then 2 indigenous players in the league. So that for me, that was in 1982, 83, 84. How has diversity, culture, how has that changed and evolved since those early days to here we are now in 2025?
Hasn't changed much. The needle really hasn't moved when you think of the league back then with 2 indigenous players in 1979. And now we have 3 in the league. And just came out today that one, Tamari Wiggness, who won the MVP in the finals in Brisbane, North, that competition, he's not in the league. So, we have an Indigenous round coming up in a little over a month. And, maybe a couple months, I should say. And in saying that, we got 3 Indigenous players in the league. We got one Indigenous coach in the league, assistant coach. In my mind, where's that at with the rest of the teams? Like, where's our development? Where's the opportunity to try to reach that community that's nearby you to try to create those pathways that we talk about it. We got an Indigenous round. we got, and now that's all we got to show for it with one team. So to me, this is something that we can improve on. You know, I'm not sure who's in charge of that or who need to make it work, but we do have a wrap, and it's got to be meaningful. It's got to have some sort of development, some policy. It has to have something there, because the way I look at the Sudanese groups coming through now, each team's got a couple, right? Some got more, some got less. But at the same time, they got programs that's coming, and there's more of them, and they stand 6 foot, 4, 5, 6, 11, you know, and they coming. So why can't we do that with the young bucks that's around here? Sydney has a couple brothers there that haven't had the opportunity just yet to have a second go at it. But most of the teams are complete now. So unless there's injury, knock on wood, no one gets hurt. Unless there's injury, that's the rosters. They come into camera in about 2 weeks' time, ready to get it on.
So I know you have your foundation, and I know you spent a lot of time touring Indigenous communities, not just Indigenous, but you tour a lot. So tell me about the foundation. Tell me, you know, who's sponsoring that, who's I guess pushing you to get out and talk basketball, talk life skills, because that's a lot of what you're doing, and I'm sure you're seeing the young talent that's out there. So what would be your suggestion, or what would be your thoughts to help elevate the talent that you're seeing in the communities around Australia?
Great question again, Eric. You know, the Bruton Basketball Foundation, powered by Game Above, Keith J. Stone, who's assisted us in that space with his team, and then George Gervin is giving support there as well. That's given me the opportunity to get out and about, which is something that I feel needs to be done, but I also enjoy doing it. And the people that I meet on the road that I become acquainted with and become involved with to help the game grow. It's about the social aspect. You know, basketball brings people together more than any other sport, you know, and they're coming from all different nationalities and all. Physically, it gives you that enjoyment, you know, that you can compete on the level once you learn the fundamentals, you know, and that's the way I come at all these young kids. Man, you got to go left, lay, you got to go right, lay, you got to stop, pull up, you got to hesitate and change. You know, you got to do those things. You know, the other side that's very important is the intellect. You got to learn about the game. There's a scout. There's philosophies. You got to be into that side too with your team. You know, mentally tough. You're going to lose. You got to learn how to handle that. You talk about resilience, how to go home, prepare yourself, you know, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You know, that's the way I looked at the game. It was like a spiritual game for me as well. That's why I'm really grateful for Game Above. It's, you know, my mom and dad didn't have much, but what we had was that spirit, you know, and I think that's what's got me to this point, you know, with all the knockbacks, you know, being a championship coach, probably best record of all time at that point, and then not being able to continue was a real difficult thing to overcome, you know. That's why I went to your old stomping grounds, and shoot, down in Tassie was a little bit different. That's true.
That's true. Yeah. You know what, man? What you're talking about actually translates over into the corporate world. So the fundamentals, the spirit. Okay, if there was a CEO out there who was running a company, who had a team, a sales team, or if there was going to be a big convention somewhere, the things that you just spoke about with the basketball, what would you say to them that they should be including that within their organization, within their teams, within their organizations?
Well, first and foremost, you got to have that culture. You got to want to give to that community. You got to prepare yourself to take some steps forward to help uplift them, because without that direction, it just doesn't happen. So therefore, we're still apart. My belief is that if each and every team was responsible for having some sort of development in that space, whether there's 2 people, 3 people, or they become the exceptional ones, become part of a development pathway off court, in the office, at admin, physio, trainer, manager, IT, something there that can actually become transformative. Until we're doing that, we're not moving the needle. Everything else is just lip service. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, the occasional camp here and there, seeing kids come in, look good too. Then they got to go back to their local clubs and play for them. And then they don't come together again, really, until they do something right there. And who's in charge of that? Who's pushing that narrative? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So that's where I think we're lacking. Although we got a lot of people out there doing some good things. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's putting in the effort, but we're so fragmented that we don't have the opportunity to come together as often as we need and support the ones that are just right there, like what Illawarra is doing right now. They supporting these young boys. Hickey's like playing for Australia now. 2 years ago, shit, when was that? You got Johnny Knuckle coming in from the West. This young boy dropped 50 over there in the finals. Wow. 50. And he couldn't get looked at by anybody else. So he's coming over here. There you go. You got those 2. And you got Kobe McDowell White. Keep an eye out for that young buck.
All right.
Okay. He's different. He's small. It's probably 5'11", 6 foot package of dynamite. he coming, right? So man, I think there's a whole new generation of players out there that just need a little help. They need a helping hand, bro. And whoever can, obviously get to them and support them in any kind of way, shape, or form, you're gonna help that community come along.
Speaking of young bucks, you got some sons who got some skills, right? Tell us about your sons.
Well, young Brooklyn is my grandson Rio calls him AI, because he's coming all the time. He wants to be a bucket. He's aggressive. He's worked on his body. He's got a routine. He gets after it. He's tough defensively when he wants to be. Like he can shut it down and get underneath and be on the other side before you can blink. Right. So, but you can't leave him open because he's ready to J you up. He's that dude. Dante is all arounder. Like he's had high games. Brooklyn had a high game of 52 in 28 minutes, by the way. And just last week, he dropped 49 in 35 minutes. Wow. Dante had 44 at one point, and then he broke his foot. 3 times. And we had to have an operation to put a screw in it. He's been back ever since, and he's been rolling. But a little over a year ago to now, he's in the finals, and he didn't get a chance to play much. But the game he's played, he's been on the court. He's been productive. He's been active both ends of the floor. He's left-handed, so he's cagey. He can get to the cup. Right-handed, real easy because he prefers. But right now he's been working on his J, so he's getting that down and trying to get him that experience here and hopefully an opportunity overseas. So my young bucks and Rio, of course, has already represented Australia. CJ's boy. He's the tallest in the family at 6'5". He's got a flame too. He's like you. He got that flame out there.
He like to shoot it, huh?
He like to shoot it, boy.
Yeah.
He want to get it up.
And of course, CJ had an outstanding career. Now he's over in China coaching. Yes.
Yes. He's over in Beijing with the Beijing Ducks, formerly one of Yao Ming's teams, and they finished second last year. They lost one of their top players in the semis, and they battled through 4-2 in the grand final. But this year they up again, and he's over there developing the next gen coming through. I thought he could have had a wonderful opportunity here, and I'm sure maybe that'll come again,
Yeah.
if he puts his hand up and wants to do that. There's got to be some place out here with his knowledge and experience and what he's been able to do with the clubs he's been at. So yeah, I'm excited for them. My other two sons, Austin and Elliot, they're doing great things with young people. Austin's with APM, which is a employment service that looks after the Indigenous space, and he's in charge of that. He's the National Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator. Wow. And then Elliot is at a school in Tyree, where he's now the in charge of the trainees. Excellent class. The excellent class is going up. So he's looking at that with the PCYC and doing that. And my daughter's a social worker, so she's at the government, ACT government, and she's doing a clinical work there. So yeah, we're all busy, man. We be ships in the night. We see each other. My girl Jules, she's a COO at the ACU, Australian Research Council. I'm sorry, ARC.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. She's been there for like 15 years, 16 years. So now, and she's been with NDIA. We got things going and coming, and we got kids in and out the house, but I'm almost an empty nester. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Almost.
You won't know what to do with yourself when that happens.
No, I got the grandkids then, that's
grandkids. So what's the next 5 years look like for Cal Bruton? What's the goal? What's the big picture? What's the thing that you want to accomplish and then be able just to kick back and retire in the Mediterranean or something like that?
I don't know about all that, but with my chair, Nadia Pesarasi, we've been doing some things trying to reach nationwide. We started in Broome in Western Australia with Mark Minato. I got a plan on getting to Geelong. That's like one of the first clubs that I played at. Obviously, Brisbane was first, but then Geelong, I spent 5 years. I thought it'd be nice to do something for the R's. I call it the R Tour. Greg Stewart, who brought me to Geelong, God bless him. Ron Dawson, who was the administrator and president of the Geelong Basketball Club back then. Russell Richie, who was our captain, big, strong, 6'8" dude that had been with the Geelong Club 10 years before I even got there. And who was the other one? We had Ron Dawson, I'm sorry. Robbie Gannon, who was one of the owners with Rex that flew up to Brisbane to see me play. Yeah. So all four of those guys have passed on.
Sorry, yeah.
And they've done so much for Geelong sport way back then. But we have Rob Sperling, who was a part of the group there too. He's still going strong. And we got other guys, Rob Groves, who was another chairman. He's still going strong. So whilst we all here, I thought it'd be nice to bring all those kids around that, give them a history lesson, let them know what came before them, and how they get to this point, and for them to appreciate these opportunities that come their way and take advantage of them. So that's my goal, trying to mix, a few different cohorts. I don't want to give too much away because I'm still waiting on the facility.
All good, yeah.
But this is going to be a refining moment in Australian sport. I'll say that to you, and I'll come back to you when we rock.
Okay. All right. I'll get you out here on this last question. So with everything that's happened in your life, whether it be in the United States, as a player, as a coach, as a father, working in the community, how important has your faith been in sustaining you through the really, really tough times? Because a lot of people out there, once they lose their hope and their faith, they lose their actual activation. And hopefully this broadcast will shine a light to them that you should never, ever, ever give up on yourself. And your story, what you've accomplished, what you're doing right now, the fact that all of your family are in the service business, that's a huge indictment on what you've been able to do. And as a leader in the community, as a leader in your household, you've won a championship, my brother. So how important has faith been?
Man, that's a beautiful statement right there. But faith has been everything. I've always been a man of faith. My mom, to this day, she left a Bible open. I brought it back here with it open, kept it on my shelf open, and it still got her messages in there. So my faith has been everything to me, and obviously I do it for my kids. You know, raising kids in another country where they don't have relatives other than themselves, you know, that's a challenge in itself. So I try to keep them tight so they stay right, you know, and we see each other. We make appointments to come together, and faith has brought all that to the forefront. When I was on a postie round in Perth, after I'd been a national champion, I got to deliver the mail. You had to have faith, you know. You had that faith that it was going to be better days, you know, and I like to think that's what's coming now, 35 years later, however long it's been, you know. But, you know, my belief in my faith has been everything. No one can shake it either, you know. So that's the way I roll. And for me, don't have to go around preaching it. Don't have to show myself being on my knees, you know, saying them. But that's what I do, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what kept me going in the darkest times, you know, having to make sure my family was straight, you know, first, and then I can be straight after that, you know. But always had that in mind, and that's what keeps you going. I'm sure our mom and dad had that thought in mind too, you know. And all I want to do is hold my end of the bargain up, and everything else will be fine. You know, that's the way I saw it.
I did say that was the last question, but I've got one more now. So, you turned 71 this year?
Yep, in a little over a month, 2 months.
Okay, so you'll be 71 this year. I'll be 65 this year.
Okay.
Your 71-year-old self, with all the experience, all the life lessons, if you could go back and talk to yourself at age 14, 15, 16, what would you tell yourself?
Wow. What would I tell myself? To invest in me earlier, you know.
Thank you.
In my education. Yeah. Invested in that earlier. I mean, I had it at my disposal, but fully invested.
Yeah.
And I think once we learn that financial side that we really need to have, and then we learn how to navigate through that and help your family establish equity, that's when you know that you're doing the right thing. You know, until you do that, you're spinning your wheels, right? So that to me was the most important part, trying to get my education and keep learning, and always open to new ideas, and understand how you can use them in your capacity.
And the best thing that you said there was invested in yourself. And I think too many times, particularly men, they talk about what they want to do. They talk about what they should do, and it only ever stays just an idea.
Yep.
Rather than going out and getting it done. Because if you can go out and get it done, then you're going to bring that same type of passion and attitude toward your family, in your job, in your community, and that's how you change the world.
And you got to learn from others. You know,
yes.
I got others that I look up to, RD consultant, Colin Astley. This gentleman's got a different way he's wired, you know, and the connections and the people that you meet, that you try to learn as much as you can so that you can do more for yourself, you know. And to me, that's the way you roll. Now, being the CEO of 4 different companies, imagine the people that are coming through with their ideas and how they want to roll with you and rock with you. And you got to find out, I can see that happening, you know. And I think that's the brilliant thing about being a leader. You know, you got to call the shots to the point where you helping everybody grow, you know, because together we grow. That's the only way you can grow, really, you know. So that's the way I look at it.
And I'm very fortunate that our owners, the Moyer family, allow me to be me, allow me to step into my strengths, which is motivating, activating, and building culture, and making sure that everyone has a succession plan. And that's why I'm loving life so much, because now I don't have to be fake and phony. I can just be myself and know that I'm making a difference. So Cal, man, you have just been a joy and a delight to talk to tonight. We would definitely have to do this again.
Sure.
Is there anything else you want to throw out to the world just about basketball, your life, or anything? Here's your 2 minutes. Go ahead, just throw it out there.
Keep Jay Stone, Game Evolved. I'm powered by them now, and that's been a blessing. As far as my family, everybody's contributed, in their own way, and I'm very grateful for having that support in what I do, because I couldn't do it without them. The people that I'm in my circle, and these days you keep a smaller circle, because that's the way it has to be. And those people know who they are. They ones I really lean on, to try to get things done. And we've been able to do some great things. So I'm really proud of everything that we're surging toward. I believe the best is yet to come. Having my family there along with everyone else is very exciting. So yeah, feeling blessed, bro. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Right. And I've got about 5 or 6 messages on here. And Cass Jones from the Sunshine Coast says, "Love it. Invest in yourself. You the man."
That's good. That's good. All right, bro.
All right, my brother. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. I know we went a little bit longer than normal, but it was well worth it. You will be able to find the broadcast on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and also on Facebook. Like it, follow, share it. It's been a joy talking to all of you. Good night, and I'll see you next week. Cal, next time you come to Brisbane, lunch is on me, my brother.
We good.
You've just been in the room with Eric Bailey, global motivator, change maker, and CEO of the NLR Group. Remember, it's not about where you're started. It's about where you're willing to go. Unscripted, unfiltered, unstoppable.